Hello, welcome back my friends. I am playing with the best tea die set today. I hope you had a really great Easter. We're now gearing up for Mother's Day. I'm pretty sure, I am 99% sure American peeps have the same Mother's Day or roughly the same Mother's Day as we do here in Australia, because I know English don't. Anywho, I have die cut a few of my elements with the teapot, and I was going to do those 2 times. I sort of indicated on the video 2 times. This is my little eyeballs and smiles and all that cute sort of little things. I am not. The original plan was to use the cup, but I'm not going to use it. Spoiler alert. I am just going to play with the teapot today. But we have all the elements there. A little bit of surgery. Now, you don't have to do this because you've already got these elements die cut separately. You can actually see the spout there. I have die cut 2 of the teapot lids and glued those together. There is a lot of dimension in the die set because you have the extra handles, you have the extra spout, you have the extra the top of the teapot. I don't know what it's called. I am doing a little bit of alteration on this stamp, just a little bit, and I hope that's okay, because we say mum, as I've mentioned in previous videos. So I've just slightly taken the top off the O and added a little line next to that to make it a U, which suits us area. So I just didn't want people to not sort of think, oh no, I don't like that because it's got mom. If you are from a country that says mum instead of mom. There was someone else I saw that said mom as well. Another country, and I can't think of where it was because English say mum. I've mentioned that before. I know that. Anywho, sometimes you can alter the stamp a little bit just by masking off part of a letter or the ending of a word or something like that. I have, with a pencil, done a couple of rough lines. I didn't show you that part because you really can't see it. You do not really need the top of this table, but at this point I just did it, so that's okay. I have marked sort of where on my wooden table legs where my tablecloth is going to finish, and as you could see before, it is basically a scalloped circle folded in half. And because I didn't really think too much about where my sentiment was going, you could have folded it perfectly in half and had your scallops either way. I did not, so I trimmed those off. You're not going to see it. That was the whole point in trimming it off. This way it looks like our tablecloth is just hanging over the edge, and I am going to put a little bit of foam under the best tea just to raise it up, give it a little bit of dimension, but you don't need to worry about the top of my table. So I have masked off my legs, as you can see here, and my background, because this is going to be wallpaper, or we don't have a lot of wallpaper here in Australia, but my house has a wall that has these striped and they're all stenciled. I digress, sorry. I've moved all the masking tape, and so it's a very light, so I'm using Lost Shadow, and this one here is, what is it? That's right, Speckled Egg. I had to look it up. I lost track of what I was doing. So it's very, very soft, and it's hard to see in the video, but when you look at the white of, which I'm now putting a little bit of the Lost Shadow on it, you can see it. I promise you can see it. This is where we're going to hide the back of our scalloped circle. You can, of course, totally cut that off. I like the idea that back of it, the top of it, the straight edge was going to be smooth and flat to the panel that we're using, the card panel. But you could also cut that off. It's all good. I decided I needed a little bit of a skirting board. We call this a skirting board. I had the word earlier about what I think you call it. I can't remember. But anywho, so along the bottom of the wall, and I just coloured that with BV, a collection of BVs. We have BV 25, BV 23 and BV 20. I wanted it dark enough so it would hide the little bit of colour that we did have in the walls, but not too dark. So I thought that was a nice little blend. I am colouring parts of my teapot. BG 75, BG 72 and BG 000. I'm pretty much going to only really use this and another colour, and that's it. This is the bottom panel. So as you can see, I've gone a little bit past where my handle is, just to make sure that it is a nice colour and it just doesn't stop and you end up with any white lines. This is my teapot. So I have trimmed it off. You don't need to. I didn't want it to be too big because this is going to be raised up. And what I just did with my hands there was just use my fingers to bend the cardstock. I will show that to you a little bit later on again. This is white, or colouring to white. So we're colouring the shadows. And I'm going to use an O marker just to blend and soften those colours at the end. And it's a pretty much no hassle, no fuss, where don't want to make this too complicated, because we're going to do things with the teapot to bring it out a little bit more. As I said, this is my take on this teapot. You don't have to. So you can see that I've bent it. I've added a double thickness of foam down through the middle. The top of it has a little bit of glue, so it's nice and flat. This is going to have a little bit of foam towards the tip of it, glue at the bottom, so it's going to be, again, a little bit dimensional. On my teapot, I've got those same BG colours, and my little knobby bit, my little handle, is just going to be my light greys, but you also have that little die cut. So I have die cutted that out, so that's going to be raised up a little bit. We've already got a little bit of dimension on, this is where I get crazy, because I've actually glued this down. There's two of these under here. Oh, I'm about to glue them down. I forgot, I didn't do it. I coloured it before. So I have raised that on the top. You don't need to do that. You don't need to. I'm just crazy, and I like my brain goes all these other places and these other directions, and then I go, why you just made that harder for yourself. So just glue it down and I'll have already a nice beautiful dimension. So that is my teapot. So here is glued flat, and I'm going to come in now with my little eyeballs, and I'm going to struggle with this smile. My husband was standing nearby and he's like, just make it a sad teapot. And I'm like, no, I cannot. I need to make it happy. So applying a little bit of glue and just tapping that off so he doesn't go everywhere. I've just flicked my little winky smile. My grandmother used to always have teapots. And we used to go around to her place. She used to live in Sydney, and she always had teapots on the table. And you each had a cup of tea, including us, and we would sit with your teapot cozy over your teapot to keep it nice and warm. And you would sit and have a cup of tea with your cup and saucer. I don't know if she ever owned mugs, but it was always cup and saucer. Anyway, that is my card. I hope you have found something inspirational of this video. I hope you are well. Have a wonderful day. Take care. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. Hit the like and subscribe button if you like what you saw. It really helps the channel. Leave a comment on any memories that you have of your grandparents, and take care. Bye-bye.